podcast with Gail and Anna, where we cross trajectories with friends as they relay stories from their part of the world.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so for today's episode, we have a special guest. Her name is Pen. Okay, just to introduce Pen to everyone, I'm going to read your Instagram profile, Pen. Okay, so Penny works at Lagalag Exploration and Larga Bike Packer. She's a teacher at Bar 3 Philippines and nanay to Enwaya and 11th Terrier. Rock and roll. Yan. So that's what's on Pen's Instagram profile. I think, yeah. If you, naka-public ba yung profile mo, Pen?
Hindi, naka-private. Piling artista ako naka-private.
Okay. Akala ko public yung profile mo kasi nga you're super like into posting like your outdoor adventures and sharing your insights and your advocacy.
Oo nga eh.
Diba? Like
Maybe because it has a lot of my kids' photo. Pero ang dami namang nagpo-follow na hindi ko kilala. So, I'm not really sure where I stand dun sa pagiging public or private. I'll think about it some more.
Gets.
Lang.
Understandable.
Oo.
Okay. So, our topic for today is the outdoors is for everybody. And this is what we wanted to talk about because we're actually all like into the outdoors. Like we're all mountaineers. So that's what we have in common. And we just wanted to share how the outdoors has played like a very significant part of our lives, like ever since like from childhood up to adolescence, and especially now that we're in a pandemic and most of us are staying indoors. So we just wanna talk about what is the role that the outdoors plays in our lives right now. And to start, can I ask everyone, when did you discover your love for the outdoors? When you were a kid, how were you raised? Were you exposed to outdoor play? Tell us about that.
I guess I was always exposed, bata pa lang, parang every weekend we would do recreational stuff like go to the beach, go to Caliraya. So that was my exposure of the outdoors, pang like, wholesome level, not hardcore. And siguro I think when I was in grade school, I always wanted to join the Girl Scout. Parang I was fascinated with camping. Syempre, parang you just see it as parang, wow, camping as in like old school camping. But I never got to join only because my mom didn't want to buy or didn't know where to get the uniform. That was the only reason. Girl Scout uniform, wala, hindi lang siya effort na ipag-Girl Scout ako. So, pero ever since, parang I always wanted to do camping kasi I know my dad then was a Boy Scout. So parang growing up, parang alam ko active siya sa mga Boy Scout stuff, ganyan. So, hanggang dumating na ako sa college, I never got to experience like camping. But we traveled a lot. Like I said, every weekend we would go to the beach. So it was normal for me, or I guess I was never afraid to go parang play under the sun. Kasi di ba may iba parang takot umitim, things like that. Parang kami, we were parang go, laro lang kayo. This is part of our lifestyle. Pero in terms of what I know now, which is mountaineering, ganyan, it only happened when I joined UP Mountaineers, which was in college. This was in 2003. So sabi ko, hindi pa pala late para maging parang Girl Scout. So, yun nga lang, parang mas hardcore to kasi 'di ba? I mean, you know naman, even in, like with AMSI and any other mountaineering orgs, you have training, hindi ka basta sasama lang with your tent or whatever. You learn skills. So, yun yung pinaka naging education ko and orientation of what outdoor life is. And even though I had a very active childhood, it changed the way I see how I should live. Yes, how I should live. So
Yeah.
there, medyo mahaba.
Hindi, okay lang. Actually, I was also a Girl Scout before. Like in
Buti ka pa Girl
when I was
Scout.
in school. But I never got to go camping like as a Girl Scout. Like, I don't know, baka hindi lang ako mag-attend during the camping activity. But yeah, we just learned other things. So I never really got to experience what it meant to be a Girl Scout. But we had a couple of field trips then, like in school, like we went to Biak na Bato. I think that was one of my first hikes.
Wow.
Biak na Bato. And I think for me, like when I was a kid, it felt very natural for me to go outside. Like parang nung bata kami, pag summer, diba, like walang pasok, like we would automatically play outside. Like nobody had to tell us to go outside and play. It's just, it felt like the instinctive thing to do, like to go out and ride the bike or makipaghabulan sa labas, ganyan. So parang it's something as kids, parang when you say that you wanted to play, you're automatic na yun sa labas ka maglalaro and not indoors. And I also got into sports then at a young age. So like football, and ako rin yung type na hindi ako natatakot din umitim or anything like that. I never saw it as something that was a bad experience. So parang sanay na rin ako na bilad sa araw like ever since. So, and because of that, I think I've always been inclined to staying active, and regardless if it was an outdoor activity or not. So yun. But when I got older, like I got into traveling more, and especially in the Philippines, diba? Ang daming islands. So that's something that I really enjoyed, like yung island hopping, like yung hiking, like seeing waterfalls and stuff. And then my interest for that is what led me to get into mountaineering, which what Pen said nga is a totally different field of the outdoors, because you need skills to be able to do that, like as an adult, and survive like up in the mountains. So hindi siya basta-basta. It's not something that you do like leisurely without any form of training or knowledge. It's there. How about you, Gail? How was your exposure to the outdoors?
Yung exposure ko sa pagsali din lang ng isang mountaineering club. Pero sumali ako nung yung AMSI na to nung 2017. Nung 38 years old ako. So, medyo recent lang siya na development for me. Although when I was 18 and a freshman in UP, nag-apply din ako sa UP Mountaineers. Pero dahil 18 ako noon, this was back in 1997, dahil 18 ako noon, kailangan ng waiver from the parents. Kailangan lang pirmahan para makasali ako. Kaya lang, parang may balita nung panahon na yun na may mga nawalang mga mountaineers sa may Los Baños. Ganun. So, hindi ako pinayagan. Ayaw talaga nila. So, hindi ko na siya tinuloy. So, interesado naman ako. Kaya lang, mga 20 years yung lumipas bago ako sumali. Bago ko siya tinuloy. Tapos, I can relate siguro sa sinabi mo, Pen, na parang binago niya yung buhay mo in certain ways. But I'd like to hear parang how mountaineering changed things for you. If okay lang na ikwento mo.
Add ko lang dun sa kanina, malaking influence nun kasi na yung parents ko were sporty. Like my dad still is a very strong biker. Mom ko nun was a runner. So yun nga, typical for us to really go out under the sun and do whatever. But I guess yung tinuro, sabi nga ni Ana, yung skills na naituro ng mountaineering, it also changed the way you travel. Diba? Parang, I don't know parang for me, siguro before mountaineering, okay, hotel or whatever, you travel, or you join what's those planned trips?
Joiner.
Joiner group. Like a package tour. Package tour. Diba? Parang ngayon, when I see groups na nasa package tour, parang baduy. Diba? Unless may iba talaga, like Kinabalu, diba? Kailangan package. Pero, parang it changed the way you see traveling, the way you choose where you want to go, and also the way you choose your friends. I don't know, parang it's hard to It's hard din naman pag yung kausap mo ay sobrang takot sa araw, takot maputikan. Parang anong gagawin nyo, 'di ba? So, and the way you travel din, nagiging basic yung needs mo. Basta maayos yung room, basta maayos yung CR. Okay na, kasi you're not gonna spend your time naman inside the hotel room, right? You're gonna spend time exploring or do whatever. Unlike before, parang importante na may TV sa room, importante na may wifi. So ngayon, actually, pag nag-mountaineer ka nga, napaka-basic ng needs mo. minsan parang, di ba? Parang minsan bonus na lang yung may CR.
Sobrang bonus.
Parang okay lang kahit sa kailagay. Okay lang. Kahit walang banyo. Carry lang.
Oo. Minsan parang, wow, may CR.
Yeah, and like,
Diba, after a class,
yeah. Nobody really,
jump off time, right?
yeah.
Pag walang CR sa jump off or sa exit or whatever. Parang, wow, may CR.
Malinis na tubig. Okay. And nobody really cares, 'di ba? Pag nasa bundok ka and walang ligo-ligo, ganyan. So, parang in that sense, like, you become much closer to the people you're with. And yun nga, you have to, yung sinabi mo nga, Pen, na you kind of end up choosing or selecting the people you travel with. Kasi nga, they have to be aligned with you on expectations and what it's really like to travel with the bare minimum. So, yun, kasi, and, and it's not an easy, activity, right? So, parang, in a way, like, you're all, like, suffering together. You're all seeing each other at your most vulnerable. So, that makes you, closer. Yung bond ninyo sa set isa becomes stronger. I guess that's how Gail and I became really good friends also, kasi we were, group mates. We didn't know each other. We didn't know anything about each other. Pero because nagsuffer kami ng sabay, naging close kami dahil doon.
I agree. Parang yung mga close ko rin na friends, yung mga nakasama ko sa Putikan, yung talagang dugyot levels kayo. Kasi you've seen each other at your most vulnerable moment.
All you're thinking about is kung magsusurvive kayo or hindi. So parang the other things like don't really matter anymore. Basta nakakain kayo. At nakahanap.
Kahit basa yung medyas nyo, diba? For me, that's the word. Basang medyas.
Oh my God.
If you have to use it the next day again.
You just have to get used to it. Yeah, and in the Philippines din kasi, like, if you wanna see the good views, like the really nice like spots, parang you really have to work your way to see them. Hindi siya kagaya in other countries wherein like meron ng established na path na may mga rail, ganyan. Like here, like you really have to find a way to get there, and it's not like it's not like sasakay ka lang ng bus and then nandiyan ka na, diba? So here, like, you have to ride like multiple modes of transportation, ganyan, tas mawalan ka pa ng signal, ganon. So that's why you really need to be equipped with the skills to get to that place. But it becomes worth it, right? Parang we do it because it's worth it, yung experience na not everybody gets a chance to do, like especially if you grew up in Manila, parang wala kang access masyado to those destinations.
Also, I just want to add, diba, our perspectives in traveling change. You also appreciate traveling slowly. So when I say traveling slowly, diba, yun nga, like you mentioned, Anna, kasi you just don't go to point A to point B quickly because you're either walking or biking, you maybe even commuting, but because you're traveling slowly, you get to go to small towns, diba? Ang dami mong nadadaanan na hindi dinadaanan ng package tour or ng private car. So you get to go to small towns, actually immerse yourself in the culture or the practices of whatever place you're in, diba? So I don't know kung na-mention ni Anna na we do a lot of traveling by bike. So when you travel by bike or by foot, you travel slowly and really immerse yourself. Parang romanticize yung sound, but really, traveling slowly is the best.
So I agree kasi it's
Gawin ng t-shirt yan.
it's very
Ah.
cliche, right? It sounds very cliche, but it's part of the journey. yung travel, diba? So parang
Yes.
even if like you're not staying there for such a long time kasi usually overnight lang naman din tayo. Parang every point like becomes an experience during the process. How about you, Gail? So babalik namin yung tanong sa'yo. So how did that shape the way you think about the outdoors and traveling, yung pag-mountaineering?
Naalala ko yung like right after nung induction climb natin sa AMC, parang I had this feeling na kahit saan tayo ilagay or kahit saan tayo pumunta, okay lang kasi mabubuhay tayo, ganun. Kahit nga walang banyo.
Agree.
Parang okay lang. Parang so in that sense parang I feel parang more empowered or stronger. Ganyan. Tapos can also relate dun sa sinabi ni Anna na parang it's not something that's available to everybody. So parang it's this special, although syempre we would like the outdoors to be accessible to everyone. Pero ewan ko, for me parang it's a special thing. Parang it's special na you can actually go out and find happiness in natural things, ganyan.
Agree.
Yeah,
Just
just to,
kasi empower. Para empower ka na, ito nga nagawa ko. Ito nga, napuntahan namin na walang ganito eh. Bring it on. Bring it on.
yeah, it's a very humbling experience, and I know it's kind of weird, but I always get this feeling of impending doom, especially now that we're in a pandemic. I always feel like mag-end of the world na. So I feel very thankful that I was able to acquire those skills kasi paano kung magkaroon ng zombie apocalypse, diba? Those skills are gonna come in handy for sure. I mean, diba? Lagi ko siyang inisip. And that's one of the reasons probably why I still try to maintain my fitness level. Kasi anytime, baka gumuho yung mundo. I don't know. Sorry.
Di ba gusto mo nga magpa-LASIK kasi pag nawala yung salamin mo, delikado.
Oo. Mahirap na. Pag wala ka nang
Tapos
mabibilhan
apocalypse,
salamin,
ganyan.
tapos apocalypse.
Pero hirap. Anong mas mahirap? A quiet place or what's this? Bird box? Yung bawal ka mag-uwi.
Oh my God.
Palagi na anong mas mahirap? Bawal magsalita o bawal mag-open ng...
Shocks. I think for
diba?
me,
Think about it.
mas siguro yung quiet place. I don't know. Well, I'm an introvert, so
So okay lang, hindi magsalita.
Quiet place yung mas dali sa'yo or mas mahirap?
baka mas kaya ko yung a quiet place. I don't know. Kayo.
Ako feeling ko dead ko agad sa quiet place. Clumsy ako eh. Lagi ako nakakalaglag ng barya. Lagi ako nauntog somewhere. Ako yung una.
Okay. So, diba, that's the life that we had like before the pandemic, right? So how did you feel when, all of a sudden we were put in lockdown and then we couldn't anymore like do whatever we wanted to do outside?
Really hard, really challenging kasi especially for us, we live in a 1-bedroom condo. So you can just imagine yung cabin fever. Tapos we have a kid na before the pandemic, malapit lang kami sa UP eh. So every day we will go to UP as in run around or whatever. So bigla kang ila-lockdown. Parang for us, it was really, really hard. Lalo na nakikita mo yung anak mo as in nakatambay siya sa door kasi gusto niya lumabas. And during yung first lockdown, na extreme lockdown talaga, na bawal lumabas kahit sa compound ng condo. As in, lahat kami parang, oh my God, yung anak ko, iyak na naiyak. So, wala kang magawa. Naka-screen time. Doon nagsimula yung screen time. Kasi nga, you didn't have any choice. So, and even before the pandemic naman, parang, pag kunyari, ang daming nakalipas na araw na hindi kami nakakapag-UP, hindi nakakatakbo or whatever, medyo nababaliw-baliw na kami. So add to that, naging pandemic na nga, hindi ka talaga literally pwedeng lumabas. It was really hard. And until now, we still have moments na parang naka-cabin fever kami. Buti na lang ngayon, parang medyo mas medyo lumuwag na. O diba? Tsaka diba, tayo na yung longest lockdown in the world. Appear Philippines.
Oh no.
I mean, I can't even follow what the CQs mean, granular, ano pa ba, NCR plus, diba? I can't follow anymore. Parang we just do what we can. We just keep ourselves safe. Pero it's really hard. I can't say that it's not the moment of craziness is gone. Meron pa rin cabin fever, cray-cray.
Same. I mean, like right before the pandemic, we were making all these plans to join these trail runs, like sa Cordillera. As in, ang dami na namin naka-line up ng gagawin, ganyan. Tapos bigla na lang, okay, so canceled na lahat. Ano na yung life, ano na yung magiging life natin ngayon? Like,
yes.
Because it kind of like determined our weekends before, like yung training, like going to Wawa or Rizal, ganyan. Tapos all of a sudden, like na-cut off siya. So parang at the time, like I think we all had to kind of recalibrate and figure out or make sense of what life is like right now without easy access to that. And I can also relate to Pen when she said na, kasi you live nga in a condo, right? Because I also lived in a condo right before the pandemic. And at first, I didn't really feel the difference at first kasi I think it's because you're all thinking that this wasn't gonna last this long, right? Parang, siguro by June, July, okay na lahat. Pero,
yeah.
Anong petsa na? Fast
2021.
Malapit na matapos yung 2021 and we're still here. So, malaking bagay yun for me when I moved back to like my parents' house kasi we're inside the village and it's a bigger space and then my mom loves plants. So, ang iba yung feeling, like I really took it for granted like all this time. Like I didn't realize na ang laking bagay pala nun, na you have a garden, you have plants around you, or you have like a place where you can jog, ganyan. Kasi yun nga, hindi ko na-imagine na before na parang it's like kasi it was always just there parang hindi mo na realize na important pala siya because we were all so distracted by yung fast-paced lifestyle that we have like in the city, ganon. And then yun, so I became much more appreciative then and thankful of at least having that like right now na even if I can't go anywhere, at least meron akong may park dito. At least may park. Parang masaya na ako na may park kami.
So I can relate to sa sinabi mo na kasi I lived away from, well, I moved back in with my parents a few years ago. Pero prior to that, nakatira din ako mostly sa Quezon City, malapit din sa UP. So, parang I took for granted din yung greenery dito sa area ng parents ko. Tapos na-appreciate ko siya ngayon. Like, minsan may mga umaga na lalabas lang ako sa garahe, tapos doon ako kakain kasi nakikita ko yung bakante kasi yung lot namin. Tapos overgrown na siya with trees and grass. Ganyan. Pero masarap siya tingnan sa umaga. Para lang makakita ka ng mga parang plants, ganyan, nature, ganyan. Na hindi ko in-expect na ma-appreciate ko.
Yeah, and I don't have like kids or anything, but I feel bad like knowing that the kids like today don't have like the same access or lifestyle that we had growing up like before the pandemic, right? Especially like the ones who are living in apartments or condos, parang I can just imagine how difficult it is for them to just be stuck there. Kasi kids are not allowed then to go out, right? Parang Yun. But I feel like being outdoors is a big opportunity for everyone. Kasi that's the safest place to be if you think about it. Right? Kasi um the risk of getting COVID is much lower when the ventilation is good and you're outdoors. So parang that's definitely an opportunity like for us, or at least for LGUs or for everyone in cities to leverage on, or at least improve on. So Pen, since ikaw like you have a kid, parang how are you able to simulate or give that same experience to your kid, like given the restrictions, ganyan, parang what would be like your advice also for other parents who are experiencing the same challenges of homeschooling their kid?
When it was really strict, parang we would drive around, I won't name na lang the place. We would drive around this place near our house and find secret spots, or parang magpa-park lang kami. And sometimes parang magpe-picnic kami sa labas. It's a little pasaway, but it's something na I really don't get kasi na bakit sobrang restricted yung outdoors when the malls are open. So I've always been vocal about this na parang we're stressing too much on yung operations ng mall. I mean, it's a good thing kasi employment siya and work for all. But how is it, it's so much na may mga caution tape, talagang daming guards na nag-ronda, mamita na bawal punan. I really don't get it. I mean, when the whole world was on an extreme lockdown, the parks or the trails were always open. And on one hand, parang iniisip ko na lang din because ang dami din talagang pasaway na hindi nagsa-social distance. So siguro it was easier for the management of whatever place, let's say QC Circle, it was easier for them to close it down kasi maraming pasaway. Aminin naman natin, marami talagang pasaway, di ba? Hindi sila magmamask, tapos magkukumpulan sila. So that's one point. Iniisip ko na lang, maybe it's that. Parang maraming dahil pasaway, i-close na lang. But then again, parang ngayon na parang it's our new normal na eh. Wearing masks, social distancing. Why are we still so strict sa outdoor spaces? And in fact, maraming outdoor spaces like halimbawa sa Akad-Ubal or sa Marikina Riverbanks, may limited time. I think it's 7 to 9 a.m. lang na pwede mag-run around. And it doesn't make sense kasi ibig sabihin, during that time, lahat ng tao pupunta that time, hindi mas madami. Whereas kung i-ipi na lang siya, hindi ganun ka, how do you call it? Hindi sila lahat halok sa time na yun. Yes, it's concentrated na 7 to 9 a.m. Siyempre, everyone's gonna be there kasi hanggang 9 a.m. lang eh. And then, yung mga pinupunta, I mean, of course, we're still lucky or privileged that we get to go to San Mateo, na meron kami napupuntang small farm, Sapa. But still, medyo patakas pa din yun kasi actually, kanamihan doon, may harang talaga. As in nature, na may caution, as in you're out in nature, tapos may caution tape. As if talagang bawal. Na parang, you're in the open air nga eh. Kami lang yung tao doon. Bakit? It still stresses me out. Pero yun, parang medyo lumayo ako dun sa tanong mo. Medyo naging frustration ko sa ating management. Pero, the way siguro we instill yung importance ng outdoors sa lifestyle namin ngayon, lalo na with a kid, is yun nga, we drive around para lang makakita ng labas. And then, nung time na talagang bawal lumabas ng condo units, we would just go to the roof deck. Like Gail said, bigla mong na-appreciate na may garden ka, di ba? You would sometimes just change the location of where you're eating. You appreciate na you're under the sun, having a picnic. Ayun din, we would go on a picnic. Hanap lang kami ng puno na walang guard na sisita kasi apparently it's a crime to have a picnic. Diba? But you know, I see a lot of families, lalo na dito sa compound sa condo namin, na talagang never lumabas yung mga anak nila. I mean, maybe, of course, it's a good thing, talagang stick sila. Pero you just think about, wow, how is, siguro for us na very active and outdoors yung lifestyle, parang hirap pa imagine, what? Never kayong gumawa ng paraan kahit i-drive around lang yung anak nyo or whatever. But of course, kanya-kanyang parenting and strictness naman yun. But for me, it's really crucial for children, for everyone, adults, children, na yung outdoors, yung significance ng outdoors. Ang laking bagay na nawawala siya ngayon kasi sa outdoors, merong socialization yung kids, may problem solving, may risk taking, all those things they can learn when they just go out and play. Like Anna said, it's supposed to be a natural thing. But now it's parang to do it is such a crime. Ayun, haba na sagot. I'm very
Go
passionate about
lang.
that kasi nga, I get so passionate with that kasi nga, I really don't get why our parks, our public parks, which are much safer than malls, are closed.
I agree. Like, ang UP ba, is it still closed? Yung
Yes,
oval?
it's really oval. Pero may areas na pwede na mag-jog. Tapos, parang, for yung mga may kids, parang kanya-kanyang hanap na lang ng isolated spots.
Yeah, it was really sad. Like, I think I got to see UP last March. Tapos, wala
Oval,
nang, yeah, it
oval.
was, nasilipan ko lang siya kasi it's closed. But then parang, it was so sad to see it empty. Parang shocks. Ang ganda-ganda ng UP. But then it's like, off limits siya. Parang imagine like, talagang,
Yes.
that was a place like for people to like, just feel human, diba? Like, do their
Yes.
exercise. Like, diba, ang daming mga vendors doon before na, diba, that was a thing na after you run, bibili ka doon sa tindahan, ganyan, and you're just gonna like, tambay ka lang doon, ganyan. So, it's quite sad that, wala nang ganun ngayon. Even if, I feel like, I also agree, I feel like it's one of the safest places to be, like yung outdoors. Yeah, I also feel like parang now is like an opportunity then for like urban planners to think about designing like cities. Kasi although ever since naman, diba, parang, it's been like a nightmare to like navigate Manila with the traffic and everything. But I think now is high time na rin for people to realize how important like it is. Like to incorporate nature in our spaces. Like if you look at like the map of Manila, like sa Google, like from a satellite point of view, you hardly see any green spaces. I think the ones that you will see are golf courses, which are very exclusive. Campus or golf course na exclusive na hindi rin accessible by everyone. And then now there are all these plans to like build more, diba? Like to even convert more of these outdoor spaces to like more structure. So parang like now's the time for us to push for better policies also. Like it's kind of nice rin actually, like yung people who are biking now, parang at least there are more bike lanes. Mas nakikita na ng mga establishments that they can actually earn. May market sila for bikers. So now may mga parking na ganyan. Kasi so it's a big improvement na rin compared to before wherein walang ganon. So
I think it's one of the good parang how would you say blessing in disguise ng pandemic, yung dumami yung bikers nga, naging bike friendly yung mga kalsada. And in fact, sa sobrang lumaki ng biking community, nakakaubos na ng bike sa bike shops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, like I had a hard time getting a bike this year. Kasi yun nga, ito sold out like everywhere. So talagang
diba? Biruin yung bike.
So there, any last thoughts on how people can still embrace the outdoors, or how we can encourage like people to experience it right now, especially the ones who are getting maybe a bit comfortable, a little too comfortable, like in their own spaces.
I guess for me kasi parang similar na rin sinasagot ko kanina. I mean, if you have a kid, just drive them around and find a spot and set up a picnic, whatever. Or just find a spot that you can walk around for like 50 meters or 100 meters or so. Tapos dyan lang kayo. Kasi depende, di ba? If the place is really strict, just walk around kasi ang laking bagay na nagagawa ng fresh air and sun na
Yeah.
hindi mo kuha sa Netflix.
Si ano ba? I'm curious. Si Waya, like, is she like the type to use gadgets? Like, pinapagamit mo ba siya ng gadgets?
Nag-start lang nung pandemic, I introduced nagkaroon kami ng screen time, but now it's, ano na siya, parang it's just part of her routine. Pero hindi naman siya hayok sa gadgets. Kasi, I know a lot of, I'm not judging with kids na talagang wholly naka-screen time. Kasi minsan, like, especially if the parents are also working from home, and then there's no one to watch the kid, it happens. Ngayon na kaya pa namin, we just try to manage it na parang very limited time lang in the morning, and then the rest of the day, hinaharas niya lang kami.
So, hinahayaan niyo lang siyang kulitin kayo?
Oo, kasi napansin ko talaga when I introduce screen time, when I introduce watching Netflix or YouTube, naging impatient siya. As in, and they're not really engaged. I mean, I'm just speaking for our experience. They're not really engaged. When you look at kids, just observe, when you look at kids watching TV, di ba nakatunga nga lang sila? They're not engaged. Nakaganyan lang sila. Para lang silang zombie. But when you play with them, which of course, hindi naman pwedeng parate, when you play with them, they really light up. Even if you just read them a story or just sit beside them. But of course, I would always say it's not always the case for everyone.
That's really interesting, that observation, na nakikita mo yung difference on how they interact, like in person versus like on a gadget. Do you think it's the same with adults?
Feeling ko pwede. Like, nung nag-unfollow ako ng maraming tao sa Facebook, medyo sumaya ako. So yung Facebook feed ko parang mga ano lang, yung mga pages ganun, pero not actual people.
Like it has a tendency to do that to us also, no? Yung parang black hole, yung or doom scrolling. Parang nagiging zombie rin tayo.
Diba? Sa Instagram, lagi mo sinasabi, last na toast. Parang anong oras na, ano ka pa rin, last na toast. Parang parang nasa Kumunoy, black hole nga.
Yeah, kasi you're not really interacting with anybody, right? Like, when you're just scrolling, you're viewing things. So, actually, yeah, I ginawa ko rin yun. Nag-unfollow ako ng mga accounts na weren't giving me, like, positive feelings. Kasi syempre, parang nakainggit din sometimes. Like, when you see, like, yung lifestyle ng ibang tao na parang normal lang yung buhay nila. It's like, yeah. So, I'm just gonna unfollow them na.
Totoo yan. Parang during this pandemic, minsan nga umalis pa ako ng group chats ng friends ko. Parang on and off ako umalis when I'm in that cabin fever stage na parang ayaw mo lang I don't know if that has happened to you, na ayaw mo lang magkausap ng anyone. You don't want to hear anything toxic. You stop reading the news. Even if chika lang na, ganito na yung, may delta na. Even if parang chika lang yung approach. Parang, ayoko.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, meron kaming friend, si Jenica. He sent me a post na parang thanking me kasi, like, there sometimes I think everybody's like kind of tired na rin, like with the pandemic, and although we do need like social interactions din, parang we're just tired in general, so parang even the social interactions like are becoming like are becoming tiring for us kasi extra effort din siya to like reach out and engage with people. Though I think yung platform na ito, like this podcast, like we really wanted to make it an opportunity rin for us to be able to connect with people na hopefully hindi siya tiring for you. Kasi we get to talk about things that matter to us and really voice out how we feel and actually learn from each other. So, yun. So, thank you, Pen, for joining us. Sana, you felt refreshed.
Nasagot ko ba yung mga tanong nyo?
Yes, thank you,
Parang
Pen.
nag-rant lang ako. Parang nag-rant lang ako na gusto kong lumabas ng bahay.
Okay lang, kasama na yun. We
Sakto
feel
naman,
ya.
tama
We feel
naman.
ya. Kasi we feel like these are things that need to be talked about also. Yung hindi siya masyado na ilalabas like out there. Kasi, you know how like social media has this like, merong pressure na kailangan positive ka parate or like curated yung feed mo or whatever. So, we need to have a space also for mga real life talks like this.
Yeah. And like kaya when I post something, like kaya nag-picnic kami, may picture kami na anak ko na nagpe-picnic or nasa labas. As in, minsan may magko-comment or magme-message, ay, di ba bawal lumabas ng bata? Parang, what?
Kainis.
Diba?
I know, yung parang natatakot ka na rin mag-post ng kahit ano kasi baka
kaya
ma-judge ka.
parang kunyari na lang late post. This was from pre-pandemic. Char.